Good afternoon, CFM. This is Coach Matt with a testing week Monday workout for today. So just before we get started on today's workout, the context for this week is retests of exercises, strength lifts, as well as some cardio benchmarks that we did 18 weeks ago that we have been periodically working on in 3 6-week phases leading up to this week, okay? So that is the phase that we're at in the overall programming template. And what that means for you could be a lot of different things, right? If you've done all of your strength workups, you've been watching your percentages, you've been like tracking these lifts and you're excited to lift and you wanna do your 1 rep max, then do it exactly as written, right? If maybe you've missed a few, you're not feeling confident and body doesn't feel good today, there's a tweak you're working around, then do not take it as a requirement that you have to do a 1 rep max ever, but I would just like to see you get in that movement domain for today and do something relatively challenging. So today is back squats and clusters, right? So if you did, 5 sets of 5 on each of those and you kept the weight moderate, like 65 to 85%, that would be fine. That would be a really good strength training day that is completely removed from the 1 rep max intensity that we're going for today. And then on all the days that we have a strength lift or a slow, lower volume, higher intensity lift, I've also included a Metcon workout. So if you feel like I just do not feel like lifting heavy today, but I want to get some high intensity work in, I want my heart rate up, I want to work on that moderate to lower time domain, high intensity conditioning workout, I've included those as well. That usually will have the same movement pattern as the lift that we're doing for the day. So you can choose to do a combination of those. You could do the Metcon only. You could do the 1 rep max, rest a little bit, and then do a partial Metcon or a lighter Metcon if you want to get a little bit of cardio in for the day. So a lot of different paths to choose on this. So the main point there is what you want to get out of this, I want you to get out of it and just tune the volume, the intensity, the time domain around the movement pattern for the day, all right? That would be the right thing to do in order to get what you want out of this week's training program, all right? So let's begin today with 3 minutes of your choice warm-up pace cardio, and then grab a PVC pipe and a barbell and a light kettlebell. We're gonna do, a band. We're gonna do some band rows from the rig. So this one, warming up the shoulders, the pulling chain, and make sure that it is not just the biceps, like pulling up high, usually is more biceps and forearms, keeping your hands down low, pulling towards your rib cage, squeezing your shoulder blades together. That wakes up all the big muscles in the pulling chain in your back, and that's what sets us up for good stability with the bar on our shoulders when we do the back squat, as well as for our pressing chain when we're going to do our clusters. Next one is some PVC thrusters. If you want to practice some clusters, that's fine too. The thruster and the cluster are the same squat to overhead, and the cluster just adds the squat clean before we do it, all right? So our thruster is gonna be from the front rack position, squat all the way down, one motion up and overhead, right? So just do some warm-up reps with the PVC pipe when you do this. If you wanna practice the full cluster, that would start from the ground, squat clean, thruster, right? So just slightly different movement, and that's what the strength lift is after we get done with our back squats for today. Next, we're gonna do some tall cleans. So we're practicing pulling our body underneath the bar. So start with the bar between the hips and the belly button, initiate with the arms pulling and dropping underneath it. So we're practicing dropping that body, which is what we need to be doing in the cluster. And actually you can practice going all the way to the catch position for a squat clean at the bottom of the squat on those ones. Next one is some light windmills. So this is just a hip and shoulder stretch. So I've got this kettlebell, and I'm always keeping this elbow straight, always looking up at my thumb that's overhead. My feet point away, both knees slightly bent, hinge the hip, so I kick that hip out as I pivot down, try to touch close to the ground, or hit the ground if you can, and then squeeze and stand tall. When you come all the way up, make sure you're not partially locking out, but lock out all the way. So knees straight, glutes squeeze at the top, all right? So hinge down and back up and lock out, okay? That's our kettlebell windmill. When you get done with those exercises, then we can move into warm-ups for the clean, warm-ups for the back squat, so warm-ups for the cluster, and warm-ups for the back squat. The cluster, I would like to put after the back squat because we have not been practicing it, right? Normally, when we do an Olympic lifting movement and a strength training movement, we'll do the Olympic lifting first because it's more explosive, more neurologically demanding. For this week, and the way that we're running the program, I would recommend that you do the back squat first and the cluster second, right? Because the cluster is kind of like our intro test. The back squat is what we've been doing. It's what you're the most trained at. It's what I want you to focus on for today for our strength lift, right? So when you get to the cluster, it will start from the shins. We'll do our squat clean, catch it at your shoulders, one motion up overhead, and then set the bar down, right? For our back squat, the back squat will start from the rack, right? I take my symmetrical grip on the bar, duck underneath it, support it with strong shoulders, one big step back, all the way down, all the way up, right? Make sure when we're doing our max out, don't overdo the volume, right? Small sets, like small percentage increases, lots and lots of small sets. And then when you get up to that like 90-ish% range, that's when I want you to have a plan for either spotters, right? So I'll have one person on either side of the bar spotting down and up, or practice and have a plan to ditch it off your back if you are not able to make the lift. So the two things we don't want to happen is that somebody spots you or you spot somebody else without them knowing about it, right? That's dangerous. And the other thing we don't want to do is have you get either stuck underneath the bar or ditch it off your head over your head like that. And neither of those are good and they can get people hurt, okay? So make sure you're talking with the coach before you're doing anything you've never done before or you're approaching failure, and that you're talking with the people around you in your class when you do it as well, okay? Have fun with it. I'll see you guys on, no, I'm sorry, wait a minute, Metcon. All right, this is the Metcon. So it's a 12-minute AMRAP, and this is, again, if you choose to do this, you can do it at the end, you can do it in the middle, you can do only this today if you want to, but it is starting at 1 rep each, cluster and burpee, right? So I do my cluster, do my burpee, do 2 clusters, do 2 burpees, 3, 3, 4, 4, etc. for a total of 12 minutes, right? And that is our Metcon for the day, all right? That's it. Now, have a good one. I'll see you guys on Tuesday.